And welcome back, everybody, to a TV podcast. This is a TV show podcast that is now a Mad Men review show that Angelo and I will be doing. I'm Jay Black, joined by Angelo Cataldi and Rhea Hughes. And Rhea, we were just talking Mad Men before you showed up. I could
You
talk
guys
Mad
are
Men, honestly.
obsessed with it.
I could do 12 hours, Rhea. I like this could just be a 12-hour podcast. I love every part of that show. And not just Joan. I love all of it, but
No.
Jones, for Angelo, Jones a big part of that show.
Well, I got to be honest. Now you're giving me the urge to light up a cigarette and pour myself a whiskey.
That was, you know what? America was never happier than when we were smoking and drinking
Look
at the
at Rhea.
office.
She's ready.
Exactly.
And she's got the booze out.
I'll tell you what, you hear a lot about Make America Great Again. If somebody came forward and said, we're going to put booze and smoking back into the workplace, I think 90% of us would be like, you know what? This is great. This is fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's start with we were talking about this before you came on too, Rhea, and somebody that you know, near and dear to your heart, Angelo Cataldi's best friend, Chevy Chase, has a new documentary out. And I haven't seen the documentary yet, but Rhea, I'm on the pulse of social media, so I know what people are talking about.
Yeah.
And this clip of Chevy Chase talking to the female producer of the podcast or of the documentary, and he said, "You're not going to be able to understand me," and she goes, "Well, why?" Which is not an inflammatory question. Like if the person you're documenting goes, "I don't think you're going to get me," I go, "Why?" And he looks angry, Rhea, and goes, I don't think you're bright enough. How's that? That's not even funny. That's just rude and mean. And by the way, Chevy, you didn't have to do a documentary. It's not like this is, community service. This is just something you agreed to. So, Angela, I want to start with you. Tell me.
No, you got to start with Angelo.
You know Chevy Chase. Do you hate him? Because I feel like he's hateable.
I want to take us back to the days when I was on the morning show with Rhea Hughes. Rhea, I want to say 3 words and tell me if they jog your memory. Asked and answered.
You can't see Rhea, but she mouthed
I was mouthing them. He was, we've had some bad guests. Sometimes people just weren't talkative or they just weren't great guests. He was a bad guest because he was a jerk off. Through and through. And I mean, I'll let Angelo talk because Angelo was one. But I always thought he was a lovable character because he kind of played a bumbler in everything. But my God, did I dislike him after our interview or Angelo's interview we did with him.
Well, here's the thing. All right, so I was recruited by Borgata to host a look back at Caddyshack. It was one of the anniversaries of that great movie. And Chevy Chase was doing a tour. And they were going to bring him on stage after they showed the audience Caddyshack, and I would interview Chevy about what was going on with the show. So he had to do, it was obligatory as part of the deal that he had to come on our radio show to do the interview. So he didn't really even want to do that.
No.
So I asked him something, and he snapped, and he went asked and answered. But here's the thing. So I finally got to the night we're doing it. And you have to meet with, I had never met him. I have to meet with him and go. There was a producer there going through how this would all schedule. And he walked by the place where I was, didn't even acknowledge my existence, went into a separate room. And then I was invited into that room, and the producer talked and I talked. Chevy grunted. Maybe 2 or 3 times. All right. He was there for a paycheck. That was fine. But I'm going to tell you something. We had an incident during it, and Chevy handled it great with a heckler and all this. I left there saying, yeah, he is definitely an asshat. All right. He is first class jerk. But I don't hate him because what he did in every instance I ever had with him was give his honest feelings. He's told you when he was doing that on the documentary, and I watched it, I think it's great. All right. He was being himself. He said, I'm extremely complex. You do not strike me as that brilliant. I would like to point out you are not going to succeed in your quest. I don't have a problem with that, Jay. That's honesty.
Okay.
Asinine. Let me handle Angelo on
Yes,
this because it's
please,
asinine.
Rhea.
It's completely ass. You can still like him and watch him because I mean, you hate Sean Penn and he's never said asked and answered to you. But what I will say is the Jay's point about the documentary, he was not forced at gunpoint to do this. I'm sure he got a paycheck for that too. It's ignorant to say whether a male or female, like a lot of people are making the point out of it that he said it to a female. I guarantee if it was a male producer, when you announce to someone, you're not smart enough to get me, you're a terrible human being. That's all I'm going to say. You're just a terrible, terrible, horrible human
Hold
being.
on. But here's the thing, Jay, I know this much. You do appreciate what he did as a comic, both on SNL and then in his movies, right?
Yeah.
I can appreciate him on the screen, even if I know he's a jerk. That isn't one of the things that limits my appreciation. She mentioned Sean Penn. Sean Penn is politically outspoken and doesn't know his ass from a hole in the wall. All right.
Right.
That's why I hate him. I hate Harvey Weinstein because he was a sexual predator who is still in jail. Matt Lauer, Kevin Spacey. Those are guys that there's no redemption for me. Chevy Chase is just a jerk. I can deal with a jerk.
Yeah, well, one thing we had talked about this, Angelo. You said that he calls it like he sees it, which is fine. But has he ever said something nice to somebody? Because I said to you, you are somebody who calls it like you see it, which sometimes comes off as abrasive. But if you see something you like, you have no problem telling somebody they're talented or smart or good at their job. Can you imagine Chevy Chase pulling like an intern aside on a movie and go, "Listen, you're really talented. Don't let the industry get to you." I can't picture him having an ounce. Especially his community cast members wouldn't even
All right,
do the
hold on.
documentary, right? I
I
mean,
hate him.
yeah,
Jay,
I mean,
I
there's a
have to
jerk,
tell
and
you
then
that
there's
this is going to upset you. So after this night, as we were walking off the stage together, he put his arm around me and he said, that was amazing. You were incredible at that. Thank you for being a part of this project."
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Rhea knows.
I
Rhea
know.
knows. I made all that up. None of that.
Here's the thing. There is a difference between you were, brutally honest, gave your opinion,
Right.
but there's a difference. I think when you say when someone's a jerk or they're
Right.
just a nasty person, but they just tell the truth. That covers up all of their sins. You can be brutally honest and not be a terrible person. Those things are
Yes,
not
you can.
mutually
That's true.
exclusive.
But I just rewatched before Christmas Vacation. He's so good.
yeah, it's
He
still my
only
favorite
plays
Christmas movie.
himself. He only plays himself, Jay, but he plays himself brilliantly. Or the persona he created, because he's much more likable in film than he is in real life,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he was good. His work speaks for itself. When he speaks, it tends to cause problems. He should probably
Yes.
eat.
It's probably the case. I always say, I'm a like generally polite person. So sometimes I will go to a comedy club and they'll pull me aside and go, "Hey, you're one of the nicest people we've ever had here." But I'm just talking bare minimum politeness, like regular human politeness. So you can understand how toxic the comedy community is, that if you're just normal, they're like, "Wow, you're outstanding." So to stand out as a jerk in that community is like you're the LeBron James of being an asshat at that point, right? I mean, you're an all-timer. All right. I want to talk about short form video, which is a new thing that has cropped up as a problem in my family, Rhea, because
Yes.
my wife pulled my daughter aside and said, "Listen, you are addicted to reels and shorts.
Mhm.
All you do is scroll through infinitely." She's a YouTube short person. So my wife put the kibosh on you can't watch shorts anymore. And she said, "I don't mind her watching TV. Like if she watches a sitcom, at least she's watching a story for 30 minutes." And I'm just thinking about my mom, who would come down if I was watching, Leave It to Beaver or whatever. She'd go, that'll rot your brain. Don't watch that.
She was
Now
right. It rotted your brain.
it did. But now we're at the point where like that's like art now. Like, go watch Modern Family so that you can like recharge your brain. So, Instagram is making this big push. They want to put reels on TV. They want to make it the new thing that you watch. And I just got to thinking, is like under 3-minute content the future of what we're going to do on TV? Is it a fad? And should we be worried about it? Or is it just the same thing that our parents thought when we were watching sitcoms?
So as a new person to Instagram, I guess I've been on maybe 5 months or so. I love it. And they told me, the reels are 3 minutes and under when I post a reel. I generally post them around, not even that, like 20 to 50 seconds. I keep them pretty short. I will sometimes get obsessed. Like if I'm just sitting doing nothing or I'm waiting in a line, I'll watch reel after reel after reel. I don't think I'd ever watch it on my TV. Like I know their thinking is they'll get kids, and that's probably their audience, is to sit around TV and go through the reels. I think it's kind of what YouTube, when YouTube started years ago and they went on TV, I think a lot of people thought that wasn't going to work. Clark watches YouTube all the time on TV.
Yep.
My brother is a massive, because he wants to watch the pyramids, and he'll watch 3 straight hours of different stuff on the pyramids. So it just, I'm not into that kind of stuff, but I could see, I watch the reels on my phone and I sometimes get in a loop where I'm like, oh my God, I've been watching for an hour.
Yeah.
I don't
It'll
know if I would
suck
do
your
it on
life
my,
out.
it will suck you in because I'm watching dog stuff, but I wouldn't watch it on my TV.
Yeah. Angelo, I think that this is probably something you would not like. Am I right in guessing that?
It raises a fascinating question to me because there is so much of this very short form content available now, right?
Yeah.
And it is geared toward your kids, Rhea's son, right? Those are the same people that movies are geared toward now, right? Most of the movies, the big ones, the franchises, are over 2-hour films.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't understand how we can say kids are only going to handle 2 or 3 minutes at a time and then put out, an Avenger movie that's 2 hours and 40 minutes or 2 hours.
Good point.
Avatar, 3 hours and 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, which is it? You have your kids. Do they prefer a big splashy 2+ hour mega movie, or do they prefer the short content that now is such a big part of their lives?
It's so funny, Angelo. My 10-year-old only watches shorts. We have to break that habit. My middle daughter, 15, prefers sitcoms or hour-long TV shows. My son will go and watch in a movie theater Lawrence of Arabia. That's his favorite movie, a 4-hour epic. Wow. He went to Philadelphia to watch the 5-hour cut of the French version of Les Mis from the 1940s. Man. He's a nut. He loves cinema. That's his thing. So it's the older they get, the more they can handle, it appears. But I think that my son is an outlier there. I think most kids prefer short form. I think that's the thing that they love.
What about Clark? Rhea, what about your son?
Well, he loves to go to the movies. I mean, he is a movie, he's not into classics like Jay's son, but he and his friends go to the anytime there's a new movie out that they want to see, boom, they're over at the movie theater. Here's what I will say, and I know we're going to talk about Stranger Things at some point. In season 4, I believe the finale, Jay, was it 2 hours or an hour and a half?
It was long.
It took me 3 days to watch it. Okay. I'm just saying it was too long for me as a person who's used to streaming going 40 minutes to 55 minutes. So I've kind of been, educated that, for a streamer, 2 hours is way too long for me.
It's a very good point. All right. Well, let's stay there and keep talking about Stranger Things for a second, because today, by the time you are listening to this podcast, we will know for sure whether or not that there was a secret 9th episode of Stranger Things. Angelo, I don't believe this. They are making, this is all over the internet right now. It's called hashtag conformity gate. That will be the title of this episode because it'll get play on social media because everybody's talking about it. Basically, the idea here is that there is a secret episode and that there are hints all over the last episode about this secret episode. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't believe it will. The point is, it comes from a disappointment with that final episode. And Rhea, I know you haven't seen it yet, but a lot of people are disappointed with the episode.
I'm down to 2 episodes. I have 2 episodes left, and they will be watched today with my son.
And, Angela, I was just thinking about the TV from, the 60s, 70s, and 80s when the show just ended. It would just be like, the only shows that, like the big ones, like The Fugitive, every episode was exactly the same. And then the last episode, oh, we got him. And that was it. Like there was no great grand buildup to this ending. We always talk about landing the plane. Maybe we just jump out of the plane. Is that better?
You're wrong. You're wrong. There was a massive buildup for the finale of The Fugitive. It was 2 parts. But you're right that they were 40-minute episodes. There were just 2 of them. All right.
Yeah.
Fugitive is the one that broke the template. Before that, they didn't give a damn what the premise was. They weren't going to tell you what happened. The show is over. It was done with. You have a horrible finale when the talk after it is, there's got to be another episode. But you did say there's going to be a movie, right? Is it going to be a movie?
They released episode 8 in the movie theaters as a special event. My kids went to go see it. Yeah.
And it was bad because it didn't answer everything. Right?
That's what they're saying, yes.
I would need a refund. I would have to get my money.
You would not get your money back.
Yeah.
I got my money back one time from a movie theater down the shore. I think the one in Ocean City, if it's still open, because the air conditioning broke 20 minutes into the.
Oh yeah, you gotta have air conditioning. Yeah.
I got my money back.
Understand bad endings, all right?
Yeah.
A Seinfeld. They finally got their ending right, but that took 100 years on a different show. Dexter, brutal. Game of Thrones, which I didn't watch, is still epic for how bad the ending was.
Still the worst, I believe. The worst.
And there is still great debate over The Sopranos, which Jay Black thinks was a phenomenal ending, but he's
brilliant.
But here's the thing: if you don't get the ending right, and it clearly here they didn't, all right, the whole legacy of the show takes a massive hit. You have to land. You have to stick the ending.
Yeah. I think stuck the landing, and I'm going to go back to a sitcom, and I think it's the reason why it is still beloved today. My son watched every single episode of it. Friends, because they got Ross and Rachel together. It's how the whole thing began, that he was always in love with her. They went through all their trial. But if they had ended that and Ross and Rachel weren't together, people would have hated it. I know it's like it's not as great as Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff, but I always thought they stuck the landing on that one.
And to come full circle here, so did Mad Men.
God.
Did they stick the landing in the end? Right?
Oh, it was phenomenal. It might be better than The Sopranos. I know you think it's better than The Sopranos.
It's a better ending.
It's a great ending. And it tells you everything you need to know about Don Draper in one moment. Bing, smile, buy the world of Coke. It's awesome. All right. You know what also is awesome, Angelo? And speaking of advertising, the greatest advertiser in the Northeast of America right now, possibly the world, our good friend Steven Singer. Tell me about him.
All right. Now, you broadcast enthusiasts out there, if you want to go into the field, watch the smoothness of my segue here. It's brilliant. All right. Sure. If you did not stick the ending, if you did not land the ending at Christmas, guess what? The pressure is on for Valentine's Day. You got to come up with the right gift then, because frankly, she's still got a bit of a sulk on her face. She's not happy. You didn't get what you needed to get. And this is your chance for redemption. First step, go to IHateStevenSinger.com and check out the inventory. This is what Rhea does because she has a son who's Don Juan, a Lothario. So, Rhea, is there stuff out there that people can redo their ending of Christmas for?
You can absolutely do it. And here's the greatest thing is you can't just do it down at the other corner of 8th and Walnut. They're also at their new store in Newtown, Pennsylvania. Newtown, Pennsylvania. And here's the best part. What you can never with, and Angelo knows this because I believe Gail has about 25 of them. The gold dip rose. Every year it's a new color. It's great. I should look it up and see what this year's price is, but it's always under $100. Obviously a lot of people get engaged. If you're thinking about getting engaged on Valentine's Day, go to Steven Singer now, figure out, they'll help you design her dream ring and she'll love it and you'll get taken care of by the best people. I love Stephanie. That's who always takes care of us at 8th and Walnut. But now if you live out in the suburbs, you get to go to Newtown, Pennsylvania for Steven Singer.
Now, understand the gold dip rose is a great gift, but if you really screwed up Christmas, you might have to go diamond. I'm warning you. And you are covered with the diamonds too. You want honesty, you want fairness, you want a good price, you want a great experience. One place to go. Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut.
Did you guys see the TikTok of a woman? I'm sure you didn't, Angelo. There was a woman who had bought her husband an Xbox, and she showed a video of the husband playing, and then she panned over to the gift that he got her, which was a butter dish. And
No.
she held up the butter dish, and she's like this. And the comments are all like women going, "Oh, my husband messed up, got me this." Just go to Steven Singer. I hate StevenSinger.com. There's a button right there. The butter dish people, you need help. Let's go.
You can get her the butter dish. Just put a nice piece of jewelry inside the butter dish.
You got to get us some
together.
butter for the butter dish. All right, Rhea, what do you got for us this month or this week on British TV?
So I was excited about this because I had heard that this was coming out, a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple months ago, called Night Sleeper on BritBox. It's the overnight train from Glasgow to London. And, it's a sleeper car. I traveled, when I lived in London, I did most of my travel by train. I went from London all the way across England, and then took a hovercraft over to Ireland for spring break. When I was done studying, I backpacked through Europe and I went on the train. I was on sleeper cars. So I am a sleeper car aficionado. I once, Ange, when I was 21 years old, took a train all the way across the United States and stopped in different places and then flew home from California. So I love movies based on trains.
Me too.
This one at Rotten Tomatoes has it around 53%. And I think that's fair. It's okay. So it's basically this guy's getting onto a train in Glasgow for an overnight train ride to London, and a woman's bag gets stolen. He chases after him. They finally get him. He gets back on the train. All of a sudden, it turns out there's some kind of device in the cab of the, and it's either a bomb or whatever, and they're in charge of it. There's about 8 people who wind up being held hostage on the train as it's hurtling towards London. There's not a bigger, unlikable bunch of people that I've ever seen. So you would think with like 8 people, there would have been somebody like the most likable person I found was Abby. She was the director of, the terrorism back in the big brain, trying to get it all worked out from there. It had a lot of potential. Like Hijack Ange with Idris Elba was terrific.
Yeah.
This wanted to be Hijack, but fell very short. It's somewhat entertaining. I think it was around 6 episodes, but I don't give it a 2 thumbs up, but I give it, if you're bored and looking for something, it's okay.
Night
Sleeper.
That was my wife's review of me after our first date. If you're bored and looking for something, he'll do. Angela, what do you got for us this week?
First of all, I'm with Rhea on I love movies or TV shows set on trains. And that's why, once again, about a third of the movie Jay Kelly with George Clooney and Adam Sandler is on a train. And it's great.
I didn't know that.
So many. It's really a good show. You should check it out. I came across a couple of documentaries this week. at a time when freedom of speech is under assault the way it never has been before in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about both of them because they both deal with journalism. First is the latest 30 for 30. It's called Booyah, a portrait of Stuart Scott.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
It is fantastic. I hate ESPN with one exception, 30 for 30. 30
yeah.
for 30 has done so much great documentary work, and this is one of their best because it shows you the inner workings of somebody who is a pioneer. He brought hip hop to mainstream sports reporting. And he did it with catchphrases. He did it with an infectious personality.
As cool as the other side of a pillow.
And
Yeah,
Rhea,
still.
there's a story in there
Yeah.
about when he was doing a story for ESPN on trying out for the Jets. And it ended up costing him a lot of the eyesight in the one eye that was good.
Yeah.
But he was 40, and he honestly believed he was going to make the team.
Yeah.
The ending to this piece was he was the fifth receiver, or he was somebody. It's so great. And his courageous battle with cancer at the end of his life, it's phenomenal. It's stage. Gail happened to be in the room and she saw it. And then she had to leave for something. She said, "Stop it. I don't want to miss this. This is really."
Wow.
That's how good the 30 for 30 Booyah, a portrait of Stuart Scott is. And the other one is on Netflix, just came out. They're both brand new. It's a cover up, and it's the story of Seymour Hersh. And now, Seymour Hersh, one of the greatest reporters of our lifetime, at the New York Times for a while, but he was a freelancer before, he was a freelancer after. He broke some of the biggest stories. He's just great at getting inside institutions like the CIA or corporate America. Brilliant at it. But here's the thing that I loved about it, Jay, just like the Chevy Chase one, about 2/3 of the way through, he starts hating the people doing the documentary. And at one point, he attempts to quit. And to me, that's when you know a documentary is getting inside the person.
Yeah.
It's revealing more than they want. These people are heroes. Stuart Scott, Seymour Hersh, these are people in journalism who came out, did it differently, did it better, and these are documentaries that reflect their greatness. So don't miss either one. Cover Up is on Netflix, 30 for 30. Booyah, a portrait of Stuart Scott. They're both great.
Fantastic. All right. And I would like to end by talking about the Stranger Things finale, which
I'm going. Bye-bye. Bye. See
All right. Bye, Rhea. Rhea literally left. And I'm going to warn you, Jay. Jay, let me warn you right now. Everybody hates it. If you like it, I'm leaving too.
Well, you get your end button ready, Angelo, because I thought it was great. Angelo, let me ask you a question. Let's say you're a young man, you're not married, and you meet a beautiful woman on the beach in a nice bikini, and she tells you the story of how she got there. You know, and it's a very involved story about a tire that was flat and she hitchhiked or whatever. And then you go back to the room and you make love all night. You wake up the next morning and she's gone. And you start thinking about it. You go, you know what? That story didn't really add up. There's some plot holes in that story she told me. Do you care, or are you just happy that you had the night with her?
You're embarrassing. I refuse to answer on the grounds that every single thing that you like even when it turns bad. You don't adjust. You're not adjusting, Jay.
I got to the end of that episode, Angelo. I thought I cried for 40 minutes. Part of it is my son's graduating this year, and the kids graduate at the end. I found it emotionally fulfilling, even though it didn't answer every single question that I had. So if I'm just judging the thing on what it did for me, it did a lot for me, so I liked it. Now, is it perfect? No. But I felt moved at the end by what happened, so it's a good episode in my estimation. I recommend it.
To take us back to 60s advertising and Mad Men, there used to be a commercial there, a cereal commercial,
I
and
remember.
a whole bunch of people would push the cereal in front of little Mikey.
Yeah.
And Mikey always liked it. You're Mikey with TV shows. That's who you are. Let me go over what we got.
Yeah.
We
What do
have
we
some
do?
great documentary stuff to watch this week on CNN and Hulu right now. It's I'm Chevy Chase and You're Not. It's really good. Stranger Things is available on Netflix, including what may or may not be the finale. Nobody knows anymore.
We'll find out tonight.
It's so bad, people think there's a hidden episode.
Yeah.
Night Sleeper. Rhea said, it's okay. It's on BritBox. Jay Kelly, I could tell you, is great if you're looking for a train movie. That's fantastic. And of course, if you want to see a couple of great documentaries, Cover Up is on Netflix, and 30 for 30. Booyah, Portrait of Stuart Scott. They're all three of those, the Chevy Chase, Stuart Scott, Seymour Hirsch. They're three great documentaries you will enjoy this week.
Fantastic. That man right there is Angelo Cataldi. You can get his book Loud at Amazon, angelocataldi.com, or if you want to hear him read it to you, audible.com. Rhea Hughes dropped off as To Not Get Spoiled. You can hear her every morning on the WIP Morning Show by going on YouTube, or you can follow her and her reels on Instagram at Rhea Hughes 94 WIP, or follow me at Hello Jay Black if you want to get my. I think, Angela, you said you didn't like Sean Penn because he was dumb and had very big political opinions. If you'd like that in a smaller sense, follow me on Instagram. You can get the same thing from me on Instagram. And please visit our great sponsor, I Hate Steven Singer. We'll be back next week with more great TV takes, everybody.